Hi and welcome back to my channel. I've got another card in the Peekaboo series. I did one before and it proved to be really popular. It seemed to help a lot of people out of a jam when they were trying to work out how the dies and the stamps all lined up together. So it's from the Gemini by Crafter's Companion Peekaboo set. You've got lots of little animals to choose from. You've got wild animals and you've got pets. So today I'm using a rabbit because we're coming up to Easter. It seemed appropriate. And I tried to make it a little less cutesy, but it's still very cute. And those that I'm showing you are the dies that come separately, and that's what creates your little window to peek your animals out from. So yes, you get the little bunny, you get the word bunny, and then you get your body and the head and your sentiments. So I've just got a piece of thick white card, going to make my card base out of that. So I'm using my trusty Hobbycraft trimmer, which I love. I can link the details to that in the description below. So you're going to cut it on the short end at 10.5 centimeters, which is basically slicing it in half. And that is your orange blade. Straight down. So obviously you're getting two card bases out of that. And then on the long side, you're going to line that up at 14.9 centimeters and score it. And that is the white blade. Card base is done. So I would suggest at this point to take your bone folder and just crease that score line, burnish it nicely, because once you've actually done the die cutting on it, the card isn't as strong, because obviously you've taken the middle out. So while it's still strong and whole, I would burnish that. So now you're going to take some pattern paper. I am using Garden Lane paper from Stampin' Up. I thought it was just a little bit more classy, but a little bit more sophisticated, still spring-like. But yeah, I thought it suited it for the vibe I was going for. And that is 10.5 centimeters by 14.9 centimeters, which will exactly fit the front of your card. And then you're going to need a strip of white card just for your sentiment. So to assemble, you're going to take your card base. On the reverse of your pattern paper, you're going to just pop a little bit of tape. And just put that onto the front of the card. It isn't designed to be stuck firmly in place at this point. It is designed to just hold it whilst you're die cutting it. Then once you have your frame in place and you take the piece away that you don't want, you're going to be left with the piece that completely lines up and fits the front of your card. I think that's a bit that people were struggling with before. So I'm going to take my arch shape, just going to create the window. And I'm just scooching it slightly over to the left, leaving more of a gap on the right. This is where you're going to need to take your time. I'm using some low-tack tape. I'm just getting rid of a little bit more of the stickiness as well, because you don't want that to tear your beautiful paper when you remove it after die cutting. So just make sure it's straight. I'm not going to put the other pieces in yet, I'm just going to run that through. Any die cutting machine will take these thin dies. Okay, that's cut. Let's see what we have. So you see the middle part obviously is going to be removed. So to take that low tack tape away gently. Now I will do this all in real time, and I am taking my time because it's the lining up that's important. So what you're looking for, and I'm sorry it's not that easy to see on this pattern paper, what you're looking for is to have nothing overlapping. So the bunny die and the word bunny, they need to be next to each other but not overlapping each other, so everything in a line, and that's just what I'm spending my time. I'm just going to take that frame away because you might not be able to see that very well on camera, but I can see where it's cut, so I know where I'm lining up. So the edge of the arch, which was cut, is where I'm putting the straight line of the bunny die, and then the word will go next to that. Just take your time to make sure everything is lined up and not overlapping, and then tape down again. Once you're happy with that, you can pop that through. I think I just had a slightly wonky bunny there. As I say, just do take your time with this bit. It's important. So because my bunny was a bit wonky, obviously I had to readjust the word as well. Extra tape there. You can never have enough, or too much I should say, and run that through. I'm using a Sizzix Big Shot. Okay, let's have a look. So you will always find, well, I would say 90% of the time, you will find that some bits are still attached. We just need to snip a tiny bit through. That's fine. Let's remove that tape for the big reveal. And hopefully it will become clear what I was trying to achieve by already having the paper on there. There you go. So we have the perfect frame. Just need to snip through there. As I said, sometimes it does stay a little bit attached, but it's tiny bits. Please do take some little scissors and snip that through. You don't want to pull at anything and tear your lovely work. So there's the frame. That's what we're hoping to achieve. So this middle bit is not needed now. Going to release those. Obviously don't cut through the letters because we want the letters. Just carefully doing that. I know this is making the video a bit longer, but I just wanted to show you it kind of from start to finish so you could see exactly what's happening. So I'm just snipping through anything that needs to be snipped through, and that's actually pulling out quite nicely. And then you'll have to, like, the middle of the letters and bits to just take away. So now we have our card base beautifully cut and a matching pattern paper layer. And then you just need to cut that little bunny off there. Sorry, bunny. So the next thing we're going to do is work on the stamping. So bunny needs a face. Now, I did a silly thing before I started filming, and I re-inked my Memento ink pad. It's during this video resulted in quite a lot of ink everywhere. It's like one extreme to another. It wasn't inky enough, and then I re-inked it, and that's, yeah, foolish. But anyway, we have bunnies. Now, I always like to, so you can of course just stamp directly onto the bunny as it is in the card on your card base, but I just prefer to just add that as an extra layer, especially if you're using something quite heavily coloured, like I did on my previous one, which I think was a dog. So because when you stamp the back of the, like when you stamp the back of the card, which you'll see in a moment, if you're using your alcohol markers without having an extra layer of pattern paper or cutting out your face again, your alcohol markers are just going to bleed through to the other side and ruin the whole effect. So I'm just die cutting the bunny head. And then we are going to colour it in, but I'm not colouring much. I just wanted everything about this card to be quite subtle. So I've literally just added a few accents of colour. Sorry for the delay. Just off camera, but you can see I'm die cutting. Okay, there we go. Just peeling the tape away again. Doesn't really matter if I rip the card there, but let's save our card anyway. So I am using Oleep alcohol pens, and it is colour 131 and 18. I literally am just adding a little bit of outline with the 131. So I wanted a white bunny, but it still needed a little something, and then added number 18 for just cheeks and other little highlights. This is the point of the video where the sun came round, was right, I worked by the window and the sun came right in, so apologies. In a moment I have to close the curtains. I'm sorry if you can't see for a moment. Can't really complain at the sun, can we? Okay, so now you're just going to snip through those lines. Got our little bunny. That's me closing the curtains. So there we go. We need to do his little butt. There he is. Just line that up. He's a little off the edge, but I don't mind that. And the same colours again, just a tiny bit. This is the part that I was talking about. If this was a darker colour and you were colouring through, colouring the back in alcohol, and it would come through the front. That's why the pattern paper is helpful, and that little extra die cut head. He's going to go there. Just need to cut that bunny in a moment. So the sentiment, your nice selection of sentiments there. And I chose some, so it'll be some bunny is worried about you. I feel like we've probably all got someone like that at the moment. It's week 2 of lockdown here in the UK at the moment. All a bit strange, isn't it? So thankful that I have my crafting and my crafting friends like you. It's like an extra community, isn't it, to just lean on. So just snip the ends of that. Haven't been precise, I've just done it by eye. Cut the bunny out. And just levelling off there. A little bit, I'm using wet glue because I wanted that wiggle room when I'm gluing this part on. Just be careful not to use too much on those letters, you don't want everything squelching out. Just carefully lift that up. So I found it easiest to line up the letters. Once you've got your letters lined up, you know that everything else is going to be fine. But whatever works for you. Okay, just make sure that's all down. That's where it really helps that you've just already done your scoring on that bone folder, because that's weakened that spot there. So now to add the sum. And I'm just putting that to the right above that bunny. Glue your bunny on. Snip off any little extra bits that you don't need. And I'm just going to pop up the sentiment on some foam pads just to help that to stand out a little bit more. And just pop that underneath. It should fit nicely. Same kind of width as the bunny. I'm now going to bring in these cute little flowers. Love them. They are from Creative Expressions and they are called Finishing Touches Blossom Patch. And you basically get those 4 sets of dies, and I just add them all onto my piece of white card in one go, run them through my die cutting machine, and you have this whole bunch of little flowers that you can use. Obviously you can do any colour, you could do it in the same pattern paper. Just find them really lovely, and that is different sizes. Sometimes die cutting little flowers can be fiddly on a die cutting machine, but because it does so many in one go, you feel it's just as handy as a punch. So I'm just dotting them around. I've put the glue onto the card rather than onto the flower because I wanted to make sure that when you open up the card you can't see the glue on the other side. Use it that, you know, we want it to look clean when people have opened it because the card continues inside as well. So I've just used the various different sizes. Teeny tiny one is so cute. It's one of those sets that's just so useful to have in your craft kit. You're going to use it loads, I'm sure. Just adds to the sort of spring feel of this card. Almost there, getting lots of glue on my fingers. And I'm very inky today. It's pretty. Still got lots more for another day. I just ran that through once, so that was enough for my sample card, that card, and I've still got loads left. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of bling, some rhinestones, the same size, one in each flower centre. Always good to add a little bit of sparkle. I really hope these tutorials that I've done on this peekaboo set have helped you how to use it, different ways to use it. If yours is still sitting in its packet, just open it up and have a go. So there you go. It's as simple as that. A nice cheery card to send somebody. Then that's the original one. The before and after inking. One lighter ink than the other. But I hope you are able to spend your time doing some crafting if you are self-isolating, and of course we're in this country, we all are stuck in unless we're key workers. Thank you for all that you are doing, and thank you to everyone else for watching. Take care.